done that so many times. My intention really is just to give you guys that first step. You know, stepping into alignment is a lot, and it can feel really intimidating, and it can be scary, and it can kind of feel like, where the heck do I start? And so really understanding your energy type and how you're meant to be moving through the world, and then the conditioning that comes from that energy type, is going to be step one. Yeah. So, okay, I'm just going to kind of get started. I'm going to have to kind of pop back to see if anyone needs to get into the room, but I will keep coming back and forth. Okay, so I am Liz Coyles. If you guys don't know me, I have been working with Align by Design for about a year now, and Amy's been a dear friend of mine for years and years and years, like 2 decades. And yeah, I worked as I've had an interesting career over the last decade. I was a singer-songwriter. I had a scented candle company. I worked as a wardrobe stylist. I worked at a restaurant for a little bit, and then I discovered human design. And it took me a while to get here. It took me a while to really kind of step into that unsexy work, because it takes bravery, and it takes awareness, and it takes you having to really know that, like, you're going to have to make some decisions that aren't going to make people happy, you know, but as long as they're making you happy, this is kind of what I've learned about my journey to alignment, is that you really can lift other people up while lifting yourself up. And that's, I think, the biggest lesson that we need to learn. So yeah, it took me a little while to get here. I had to quit some jobs. I had to stick out some jobs that I didn't really like for a while. But, you know, it all led me to here. And through all of these steps that I've taken, and really that commitment to myself, and commitment to my desires, and commitment to creating the life that I desire, you know, I was able to step into alignment and make my life start to feel really sexy. And that's when life starts to feel sexy, is when things are clicking into place and it just feels good, you know? And that's what it takes. It takes commitment, and it takes awareness. And that's the beautiful thing about human design. Really understanding how you're designed to be, stepping into that, and not just like today we're talking about energy type, but even going deeper into that, there is so much to learn about yourself. And within that, there's such a deeper understanding of who you are. And within that, you get so much permission to really be who you've always felt that you could be. And that's my favorite part about human design. So that is that. Today we are diving into making the unsexy sexy. And the unsexy is a part of the alignment work that we all have to do. And when we talk about the unsexy work, we're really just talking about shedding back all of the conditioning that we have been taught for years and years. And what's interesting is that each energy type actually is conditioned to be a type other than their own. So we all actually come into this life conditioned to be, a couple other people. We all come into this life conditioned to be an energy type that we all come into this life as the purest forms of ourselves. But we get conditioned to act as another type, and that's where we can really get stuck. And in human design, we talk about your not self theme. That's where that starts to get brought in. Everybody has these emotions that start to arise when we're feeling out of alignment, when we're working out of alignment, but we actually are designed through society and through all this conditioning to be and do and act that way. And, you know, we're conditioned by the energies of the people around us and the expectations of the people around us, and especially people that we're closest to and that we spend the most time with, you know, our family, our friends, our coworkers, all of that. And then there's the norms of society, you know, the communities and the institutions and all of that we participate in. And so conditioning just comes in from these outside influences in our life that really oftentimes are not in alignment with our truth or who we are or who we're designed to be. And so our conditioning really distracts us from being able to just be true to ourselves and what is just inherently correct for us, the way that we're designed to be. So owning your energy type is step one, like I said, and it's wild to me that each energy type has been conditioned to act like another, but creating that awareness is step one, so you can start to step out of that. So for example, in society, we're taught, you want something, you go do it, you go out, manifest it, make it happen, pull your socks up and just get going. Well, projectors, for example, one of the energy types, they are just not energetically meant to do things that way. And their design is not compatible with those values and those expectations that are placed on them. And so what happens is they start to try and live like that, even though they're energetically not designed to, and they push themselves too hard and they burn out. They create these really unrealistic expectations of themselves. And when they can't reach or, keep up to that, they feel like they're failures and they feel like they've disappointed themselves and the people around them. And so it's really about understanding, as a projector, what is the best way for me to operate? As a generator, what is the best way for me to operate? So this is where we step into the deconditioning or the unsexy. Oh, I'm gonna let some more people in. And the deconditioning is just that process of stepping into your own power, owning it, and living your life according to what is correct for you. And, rather than being influenced by everything outside of yourself. And that's just what happens in life. When there are problems that start to arise, we can often look outside of ourselves for the answers, when really they are all in here, and we are all designed to be tuning into our body, listening to our body, trusting our body, because our energy and our authority is always guiding us in the right direction. So it's really, really about trusting that. And it's about learning to listen to yourself and, asking yourself, like, what do you want? What feels good to you? What feels authentic to you? And throughout our lives, little bits and pieces of this may have kind of popped up, but at least for me personally, and I'm sure you guys can agree, that really discovering human design is what created that awareness for just, okay, this is who I'm supposed to be. Now it's time to do the deconditioning. Now it's time to do the unsexy work and get it going, so that we can start to peel back all of these layers of who we are supposed to be, and really step into who we desire to be, and step into the alignment and become our most authentic selves. And, when we go deeper into the deconditioning, into your charts, when we look at all of our open centers, that is another layer of the conditioning, because there's where we start to absorb things from other people. And there's a lot of conditioning that takes place in there. And so I highly recommend, if anybody hasn't had a human design reading done, we go like deep into your chart. We go over your energy type, your strategy, your authority, your centers, all of that, because what it does is create such a beautiful foundational knowledge of who you're supposed to be, who you're designed to be, and where the conditioning is taking place. And it's really like a light switch. Like once that's turned on, you can't unsee it. It's like, you can't unhear all of this knowledge about yourself, right? It's like, oh my gosh, this is, I've been working in this way, or this has been happening for this reason. And so it starts to really fuel this fire and kind of gives you this momentum to start, choosing yourself and know that it takes time. Like I said, my journey has been a long one, but by just even today, like I'm leaving you guys with the information of just, some major conditioning for each energy type. And I'm going to dive into a little bit about that energy type so you can know who you're designed to be and kind of the conditioning that you're faced with most often. And then at the end, I added in a couple of journal prompts for each type. And so we'll email those out to you guys. If you have a pen and paper, great. If not, no worries. We'll email them out to you later today so that you can really start to like sink into what is working in your life and what's not working, and where can you start to make shifts, and where can you start to take some steps into the unsexy work so that you can start to design a life that is so abundant and so happy and fulfilling and sexy, and it works for you. It feels authentic to you. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, like I said, pop them into the chat, and we are going to start with generators. So generators, You guys are here. I'm also a generator, but we are here to work, and we are here to love the work that we do. We really are the doers of life, and we're in this lifetime here to master something. And so it's really important to remember that as generators, it's so in this, and this goes for manifesting generators as well, but where we commit our energy is so important, because when we do the work we love, when we spend time with the people we love, when we, fill our days doing the things that we love, we generate more and more energy. And that is what makes us a generator. We are sacral beings. We are ruled by our sacral chakra. And in that sacral chakra, there is life force and creativity and desire and all of these beautiful, juicy things. And so we are meant to be filling our days with those things. And we're meant to be generating more and more energy. That's how we know that we are on that path to alignment, because we are doing the things that just give us life. And when we do them, we can go and go and go, and we don't get tired. But when we start to do things that we don't like, or, we spend days in work that we don't like, we get really tired and we hit burnout. We stop generating energy, and it starts just depleting our energy for us. And so it's really about, owning your energy as a generator is choosing to commit yourself and your life to a work that you love and people that you love, and, in healthy relationships, all of that. And knowing that that's the best use for your energy, because you are designed to work and work and work. And it's so satisfying that, and generators feel most satisfied when at the end of the day, they can lay in bed and just be like, like, I've done a good day's work. I had a beautiful, dinner with the family, or whatever it is, with friends. You just feel fulfilled by the relationships in your life and the work that you're doing. So the thing that generators come into this life with is this kind of conditioning that we get as kids, which is you have to do things in life that you don't enjoy doing, and you have to do things that you don't want to do in order to help other people, because our souls really deeply resonate with this idea that we want to lift other people up. We want to help other people. And so when we get taught that as children, then we start we start compromising ourselves. We start doing things that we didn't want to do because we got praised for it. And then we started to find worthiness in it. And so it's one of the biggest conditionings for generators is just that. It's where are you shoulding in your life? Where are you doing something because you should? Where are you taking a job? Because if I take this job in a couple of years, I'll get to this job. All of those are really incorrect uses of your energy. And knowing that you're ruled by your sacral chakra, it's like you should just have this clear-cut decision on what you want to do based on your excitement level. There's going to be a physical pull that you're like, ooh. And we talk about the like, and that's because that's just like, as kids, that's like all we would have said, a generator or a manifest generator child. Do you want this? Or you might find yourself even as an adult, just kind of like saying these sounds to get it out. Anything like that is going to be this clear indication for you. But know that when your sacral is committing to something, then it's going to go, and it's going to go and go and go. And so that's where you have to be really, really aware of where you're committing it, who you're committing it to, all of those things. And just trust that if your sacral is saying no, it's a no. Your sacral only knows a yes or a no. And the yeses are bringing you in that path to your highest self. And the no's are saying, that's not in the path of my highest self right now. And if you don't listen to that, you're going to burn out and you're going to feel exhausted. And so that big lesson is just knowing that we live in a win-win universe. And when you choose to do the things that light you up, it will in turn light up everybody else around you, because you are this magnetic energy. And the more that you choose the things that light you up and you generate more and more energy, the more the energy you will have to just effortlessly give to people. And the more you just naturally will lift them up and inspire them. People just want to be around that energy. So, it's about really learning not to go out and physically try to make everybody else around you happy, because that's when you're going to hit burnout. And that's when you're going to hit your not self theme of frustration. And it's not about going out there and like figuring like, how can I make everybody happy? It's just really deeply resonating with the fact that when you are fulfilled and when you are happy and when you are doing the things that you love to do, you just light up everybody around you. And so that's really a big lesson for generators. And so the unsexy work for you guys is just that. Number one, you know, shedding this idea that you can only make people happy by doing things that you don't want to do sometimes. And really sinking into where, you know, that magnetic state that you can get into, and know that it has the power to do everything that your soul desires to do in terms of lifting up other people. And when you say yes to things that are really a no, you aren't leaving that positive, sparkly energy wherever you go. And you burn yourself out. That person's not getting that. It's just an incorrect energetic exchange and nobody wins. So yes, you are here to make other people happy. And yes, your soul deeply resonates with that, but not by losing yourself and not by putting yourself last. Trust that your gut is going to lead you in the right way. And then the other big conditioning for generators is that they can really just get stuck in the mundane. You know, as we are here to master something, we can get conditioned to work and work and work and get stuck living in this life that's just like, okay, it's okay. I go to work, I come home, that's just life, you know. And as a generator, you have the energy to do that. You do, you have the energy to go and do the same work every day. But is it lighting you up? Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? You know, your soul desires more than the mundane. So let yourself have it. Let yourself have it. So the journal prompts that I have for the generators are asking yourself, where are the shoulds in my life? And where am I accepting mediocre in my life? So ask yourself that. And those are two things that you guys can start to step into and just really feel into, because when you can ask yourself that, you can start to make that little step forward, and you can really start to feel into what feels good for you. You'll start to feel your energy lift. You'll start to feel your energy increase. You'll start to feel that like sparkly energy coming back. And that's how you're designed to be. So that question, those are the two prompts. If anyone has any questions about generators, pop them in. If not, I will just head on to the manifesting generator. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Diana, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay. All right, manifesting generators, we are on to you guys. So a lot of the manifesting generator is going to be similar to the generator. They too are sacral beings. So the same goes for them with doing the things that light you up, you know, having that direct connection to what you're committing your energy to. But where manifesting generators are different is that they're just really, of all the energy types, they're just like expansive. They're so big and sparkly, and they are just not linear at all. And so that's a big thing that manifesting generators have to deal with in society, is that society says, you know, there's a linear path to success, and success is serious, and there's one way to get there, and this is how you do it. And if you don't do it that way, then you're a failure. And so it's really this like A, B, C, D, you know, take every step in a row. And manifesting generators are like, no, I want to go from A to M back to F. They're just a little all over the place. They can be really back and forth. They have a lot of things that excite them. They have a lot of interest. They can kind of pop back and forth. They can have so much energy that they're like, oh my God, I just love everything, and I don't even know what to do with it. Like, I don't even know where to commit my energy to. And so, yeah, they get called all over the place. And that can be a pretty shitty thing to be told when you are a child and you're a manifesting generator and society's telling you like, stay straight, sit down, do this. It's like, that's no fun, because that's literally just dimming their light and so opposite of how they're meant to be living. So know that for manifesting generators, you guys are really here to show us that being all over the place is a good thing. And And so for you guys, it's similar to generators in that anything that you're lit up by, you should be going to explore and dive into. But where generators are here to master something through their lifetime, manifesting generators are really here to dive into all of those little things. Dive in, go deep, and just see what you're trying to get out of there. It could be a lesson, it could be a skill, there could be a relationship that you're meant to learn. Like all of these desires, and this goes for every energy type, desires are not a coincidence. They are here on your path to teach you something. So the thing is, for manifesting generators, they just have a lot of them, and they can kind of be scattered, and they can start something and then be over it pretty quickly and then move on to the next. But you know, you're just meant to dive into that thing, squeeze all of the juice that you can out of it. And when there's no juice left, okay, bye. Because your energy type is really just asking you to just follow your bliss, you know, and when you're sacral, when your gut has that desire, go follow it and know that it's not a coincidence that it's there. And yeah, and for the manifesting generator, there's these two speeds within you, right? You have the generator part of you that's just like, everything that I desire is coming to me. I just have to wait and respond, and then say yes to the things that light me up. Sorry, I really thought I had to sneeze there. Okay, that was weird. Say yes to the things that light me up and say no to the things that don't, right? The generator part can move just a little bit slower. Whereas the manifestor energy is like spontaneous, playful, you know, I get an urge, I want to go do it. And then that's what makes the MG so kind of sparkly and big. And so for manifesting generators, there's those two speeds within you that you really have to be just aware of, you know, because that manifestor has to just go and do. And then the generator is just a little bit slower, and they need time to respond and see, like, do I actually want to do this thing? So what can happen for manifesting generators is that, you know, they can be super excited in a moment, say yes to something, and then 2 weeks later when they're like, hey, I got us those tickets for the concert, they're like, I don't know. So, you know, knowing that, yeah, they're kind of prone to changing their mind, and not just like about a certain thing. They, like I said, they can dive into an activity, be obsessed with like knitting for 3 months, and they're like, okay, I'm over it. Now I want to dance. Oh, I'm not really dancing anymore. Now I'm into this, you know? So for manifesting generators, it's really about, for you guys, owning your energy is diving into those things big time, and just watch how far you're committing into the future. You know, just kind of try to stay present and see how things change as they go, and see how you feel as things go, and see how your excitement level kind of evolves from the moment that you're excited about something and to what your gut is telling you, you know. Buy yourself a little bit of time. Let you know, you guys go ahead. I'll grab my own ticket. That way you can just kind of see if you're still excited about it, because again, your energy changes. And I kind of describe it as this like moment of truth where the manifestor's like, yep, I'm all in. And then when the generator kind of catches up, you have to like dip your toe in the water and see like, okay, do I actually want this? And sometimes it's like, it's still yes. Sometimes the gut is like, yep, I'm all in. And sometimes it's like, no, I'm good. So yeah, just be aware of that and know that, you know, as humans, we are all afraid of the unknown, but you really have to own that as a manifesting generator. Own that your path to success is not a one-way thing, and your success truly comes from just following all of your passions. All of them are, like I said, they're here to teach you something. So think of it like you're gaining a new tool in your toolbox. You might not be using that skill, that lesson, that relationship, whatever it is. You might not be using it every day, but you will be able to go back in at some time into that toolbox and use it. So take it and be brave enough not to, like, once that juice is squeezed and there's nothing left, be brave enough to let it go, because that is, that's a really big conditioning for manifesting generators. So, okay, the unsexy work for you guys. Just that you number one, the linear, right? Like having to do things in a set way, you know, this whole belief that success is like comes from struggle and seriousness, but like knowing that you guys are here to show us that we're meant to be happy and light, and success is fun, and you can do all these things along the way and still get there and still achieve success and still achieve your goals, all of that. And so it's a bit of the people pleasing, like kind of the same as generators, where it's like, oh, I just want to like make them happy. So I do the things that I, you know, I think that I should do, but I really don't want to. Like, know that that sacral energy is, those sacral commitments are still so, so important for you guys. And then know that your energy is just big. It's big, it's sparkly, it's magnetic, it's all of that. So don't be afraid to own it. A lot of times manifesting generators can just shut that part of themselves down and start to play small, but know that you guys are just designed to be big and to play big. So do it. And okay, so for MGs, the journal prompt for you guys is, where am I playing small to please others? And what are the things that I deeply desire to do, but I'm afraid because it's too big? Okay, just going back to the chat for a sec. My daughter will be happy to hear this. Yay, that's so awesome, Heather. That's what I love about human design, is just this permission to like be you, you know, and know that like there's nothing wrong with the way that you are. I feel like I'm scattered with all of my interests. I'm a manifesting generator. I'm a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And you know what? That's great. Like, take what you can from it, put it in your back pocket, keep on. Like I was saying, a tool in the toolbox. It also could just be like a brick. It's like a brick that's building your path in life. So it's all a part of your story. And I laugh because I find a lot of times with manifesting generators, it'll come back like that one little random thing that you were fascinated with for 3 months, it'll come back in handy. Like you were obsessed with, you took a sewing class and you wanted to like make dresses, and then you just forgot about it. But then, you know, one of your best friends is getting married, her dress gets ripped, and, or, you know, one of the bridesmaids' dress gets ripped. You're like, oh, I know how to sew. It's like, it'll come back in at some point to serve you. So don't feel like a failure for that. Okay, can you read the second question one more time? Yes, I can. Where are the things, or like, what are the things that I deeply desire to do, but am afraid because it's too big? Lisa, do you find some generators perform like MGs? If so, is it? Yeah, I do. But I find that, okay, so it's also knowing that for generators like who are mastering something, I find there's oftentimes something kind of weaving that, there's something weaving together. There's like a common theme in the things that they're doing that oftentimes will lead them to that theme that they're mastering. So it all kind of fits under the same umbrella, if that makes sense. But yeah, and you know what? It's like, I thought I was a manifesting generator for a long time because I've done a million things, but then I realized, oh, you know, like, okay, so writing music, I like my goal in writing music, aside from just, you know, sharing my story, was to really like help other people. And my candle company, it was kind of the same thing. We started it. We like started this really affordable candle company because they were luxury but affordable. So we were like, okay, what about just the average Joe who wants a beautiful candle but doesn't want to spend $60 for it? So I wanted to help kind of people in that way, or make something accessible in that way. And then through human design, same thing. I mean, my soul is like so lit on fire by this, but you know, it's similar. There's kind of like a little string that's weaving through all those things of like this desire to really, really help people or heal people, or, you know what I mean? So that's what I would say to that. Cause I'd say MGs maybe are a little, it's less connected. Thank you. Makes total sense. I'm a projector and everyone tells me I am all over the place because I am. Hey, own it. Own it. Okay, let's move on to projectors. So projectors really, okay, so your guys' energy is so different, right? You guys are really absorbing the environment that you're in, and you really are able to see everything that's in front of you, like so clearly. And that's the gift that you guys come into this life with, is that perspective. So for you guys, it's waiting until you're asked to share what you see, because your strategy is to wait for the invitation. But when you can really sink into that comfort of just like using your strategy and knowing that your energy is just different, it becomes really, really relaxing, because you are a non-energy being. So, life for you should feel really peaceful, but this is where the conditioning takes place, is because projectors forever have been conditioned to work and be and do like a generator. And so it's really about accepting for you guys that you are here to change and improve what already exists in the world. And where projectors really can go wrong is that they start to observe how other people are becoming successful and think that you need to do the same thing. I need to push, like the example I used earlier. I need to push. You want something, do it. Pull your socks up. You just are incredibly different. And what your soul deeply resonates with is this idea that you're here to see and not to do. Your soul resonates with this fact that like it's more about what your contribution in your the way that you're seeing things versus what you're actually physically outputting. And that's the gift that you have, and that's the real contribution that you have to add to this energetic collective, is the guidance that you have. And so projectors really need to know that you're not here to play the game like everybody else. And that's the biggest lesson for you guys, because you're able to see everybody else so clearly, but you can struggle to see yourself. And if only projectors could just see and understand and know that like how freeing to be able to know, you guys go and do, you generators and MGs, you guys go, you put in the work, you guys do the things. I'm not here to do that, And so, yeah, a big thing for projectors is just really accepting that they're not here to keep up with everybody else, and they're not here to play the game like everybody else. And it's not that you guys, work less than everybody else. It's just that your work looks different. Your work truly is in this guidance and this wisdom that you're sharing with other people. And so when you can really accept that, then you can go back to a place that feels really comfortable, that people can then be able to really see you and recognize you. That's the thing. Projectors, your life is all about being seen and recognized and invited, right? So it's about going to a place where you're diving in, you're recognizing yourself. Projectors have to do that work because that's their biggest struggle. But then when you've done that, is then coming out and letting yourself be seen so that people can then see you too and recognize you and be like, wow, and that's when that's when the invitations start to come for you guys. And that's when this correct energetic exchange starts to happen. So, it's knowing that if you guys just start going out and like giving advice to people thinking that you know best, but then people don't listen to you, you can really get hit with like, no one's listening to me. People don't get me. Everybody's doing it wrong. Like I always joke about projectors because they can just focus on so much of what is going wrong. Like they really can just be like I joke because I've had this experience at a restaurant with friends. We'll be sitting there and they're just like, we'll be talking about, I don't know, politics. And then they're like, the projector at the table is, why are the bathrooms beside the kitchen? That makes absolutely no sense. Like they start to see like systematically how the restaurant is designed poorly. It's like, what? So how do you make money when you're here to see and not do? Well, you capitalize on things like that, right? Your gift is the way that you see things. Your gift is that you can see things and then improve. And then, so you'd be a great, project manager, a guide, a coach, a teacher, projectors really are the leaders here. So finding the things that light you up as a projector, but knowing that your gift is the way that you see things, and then you monetize by sharing those things. And when you share, you're improving people's lives by your guidance, by your, you know, even a projector on like I said, a project manager on a construction site, you could be like, no, that makes no sense. You could look at a set of plans and blueprints and be like, no. You know, projectors are always seeing things in such a different way. But what's so beautiful is that you guys sometimes don't, like I said, you have trouble seeing yourself. So for you guys, it's like so obvious. You're like, well, duh. And you just assume that everybody else thinks that way, but we don't. So that's where you guys sharing is so important. But again, waiting for that invitation is huge, because that's what's going to make that correct energetic exchange. So yeah, it's really knowing that for you guys, you know, catch yourself focusing on things that are going wrong, because it's just a waste of your energy. Like where generators and manifesting generators create more and more energy when they're doing the things they love. You guys have what you have in the morning, and that's your reserve of energy. So be really precious with it. You know, make sure that you're giving your time to the things that you love. Make sure you're giving yourself time for rest and play and all the things, and know that you're really this guiding, expansive energy. That's really what you're here to do. And you, when you spend your time kind of focusing on what's going wrong, it can create that bitterness inside of you. So let go of that, you know, let your energy be spent developing your gifts and diving into the things that you like to do. And when you just go and live life and play and have fun, that is the lens in which you see the world, which is how you really cultivate this wisdom and this power that you guys have. So give yourself time to do that. And so for you guys, the unsexy work. So the big unsexy work for you guys is like, obviously this fact that a big part of your conditioning comes from the fact that you've been told to act and work like a generator for your entire life. So it's shedding this whole idea that you're not good enough and that you can't keep up and that you're just not designed to be like that. Well, you know, I'm just not, you know, well, you are not designed to be like that, but not because you're not good enough, but because you're not designed to be like that. So don't focus on how other people are doing it and think that's how you have to do it. You know, you're just physically and energetically not designed to do it that way. And then as well for projectors, it's like there's a really huge bravery component in your unsexy work that comes down to knowing that it is okay to do things your way. And your energy is designed to be different, and so are you. So do it. So the journal prompt that I have for projectors is, what area of your life, or what areas of your life do you feel would serve you better if you did things your way? Yeah, and that's really what it is for you guys, is like learning that you can do things your way, and allowing yourself to do it, and imagining that, right? Like what could I change? How could my life serve me better versus how can I continue to serve in my life? You know, really being brave enough to do that will make a huge shift for you guys in your energy. And then being aware, you know, really owning that energy, owning the fact that you're not here to do the heavy lifting, and then just catch yourself focusing on things that aren't working, because it's just a waste of your energy. Okay, how do we make ourselves seen so the invites can come? So that's just really like, I mean, I think it depends what you're in, like what industry you're in or what you're talking about, but like it's literally just being out there, you know, and it can be talking about the things that light you up, or if it's like an offer, talking about what you're offering. You're not pushing it on people. You're just saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. Like, hey, if I was a projector, hey, I love human design. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm offering human design readings, da, 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 da. It's just saying like, hey, I'm here. This is what I do. I'm seen. And then, you know, if it can be that, it can just be sharing your life. It's letting your energy be seen, and then letting your kind of offerings be known so that people can be like, ooh, okay. And then the invite will come because they want a piece of that, or they're intrigued. I've always said, I can see things you may not be able to. Totally feel that. Yeah. And it's beautiful. And that's where I think projectors, you guys take your, I feel like you not take your gifts for granted, but you're just like, to you, it's just like, well, duh. But to us, it's like, oh, but just make sure that we've invited you in, or else it's going to be not very well received. I find it so easy to understand generators, MGs, and manifestors, but myself, a projector, I just don't get it. Speaking of difficult seeing oneself. Yeah. But when you do that self-work and you dive in and just start to think about how, what's your dream life look like? And then start to give yourself permission to take little steps to do that. And that's the thing, like I said, doing it your way. Where can you do more things your way? That is where you'll start to really, really see your power. Since I've started learning about my projector self, I've had more women ask to work with me. See, that's amazing. And that's just being seen. And maybe being seen for you, Tara, is just talking about it, right? Hey, I'm learning this about myself, and and this is human design. And then it's like, okay, well, I want to work with you. That the invitations will come in when you're just lit up and by the work that you're doing and talking about it. Second question, there wasn't. For projectors, it's just, what are the areas of your life that you feel would serve you better if you did things your way? Okay, now we are going to hop into manifestors. So manifestors are a very, very different energy as well. And they are here to they're the initiators of the world. They are the only energy type that we have that is really meant to be getting things going, get the ball rolling. They are like the domino that flicks, and then everything else just kind of falls and flows. And so manifestors work on urges and following their urges. And it's about, for them, their energy just works in these spurts. So it's when they get an urge to go and do that thing, but not feel like you're being lazy when you don't have that, when you don't feel the need to go and do. And so a big lesson for manifestors is knowing that they don't need to rely on anybody else to get where they're going, which is very different than every other energy type, right? For generators and manifesting generators, we have to wait to respond. Projectors wait for the invitation. Reflectors are waiting a lunar cycle to reach that point of clarity. But manifestors are different. They're here to just go and do and initiate. So for them, really owning their energy type is just, it's listening to their urges and really understanding that they have a spontaneous energy. And so just accepting that within themselves. And these signs that are kind of guiding them to where they should be going come in the form of an urge. And so for them, the external world really should not at all be dictating who they are. And for them, they feel best when they're just free and they're not structured in. They just want to be free to do what they want to do when they want to do it, and follow those urges, and then rest when they want to rest. And what's really interesting about manifestors is that they are really highly connected to source, and they get these downloads, and that's part of where these urges come from. They're really brilliant little spurts of energy. But a major conditioning for manifestors is that they're taught at a really young age to be linear and to be small, to play small. And because manifestors come in just so bold and ready to parent themselves almost. So that conditioning starts really young in childhood, where it's no, you're the child, I'm the parent. You don't do these things. And so they start to just dim their light a little bit so that they can play small and that they can please people. And then what happens when they do that is they just start to put their power into other people's hands. And that is really, really dimming their light. And that's really an incorrect use of their energy. So they're just meant to be living freely, following the urge when it comes. And then, their strategy is to inform. So informing anyone that decision might affect, to inform them. And then really knowing and understanding that when you really trust yourself and you follow those urges and you inform and just go and don't second guess yourself and don't play small, all of the right people will be attracted to you and follow you. They'll be like the dominoes in that effect. They just will. And you have to really trust that. And you have to trust your truth and just be yourself, you know, and know that when you do all of that, then all the right people will come to you. Because there's a big conditioning of that people pleasing, where manifestors want to feel like people are really like into them and approving, like I approve of what you're doing. But you have to know that you can't be owning your energy as a manifestor and be so concerned with whatever, if everybody's approving what you're doing at the same time. It's not going to work. That's you playing small. You have to allow yourself to really like not get stuck trying to people please, because you're just giving your power away. You have to really, you know, stick your neck out and be brave and follow the things that you want to do and show people what you're into, and not dim yourself for that. And so that's a big conditioning, is just that, you know, they have these urges, and like I said, the parents or teachers or anything in life, they're like, no. Like, it's a really intimidating energy that manifestors have. And so people are often just, you know, they're going to shut them down if they're in a position of power when a manifestor is younger. So that's where they get taught to play small so that they can please other people. So for you guys, that really is the unsexy work, is like so the journal prompts I'll give you guys: where am I playing small? I have a few questions for manifestors. Where am I playing small? Where am I asking for approval? And where do I desire something, but I'm afraid to take action? Where do I desire something, but I'm afraid to take action? Because that's a really, really big one for you guys. Remember that you're here to initiate. You don't need anyone to tell you that it's a good idea. You don't need, and remember, informing is it's not asking for permission. It's just letting somebody know. You don't need someone to tell you it's a good idea. You don't need someone to give you permission. You just need to recognize in your life where the areas, like where are you playing small, and know that you really are only dimming your energy. Manifestors are big. They're big. And so, you know, when they start to play small, that's how you know that they're out of alignment. You'll see them starting to play small, or you see them starting to get angry. So for manifestors, it's trusting your urges and informing correctly, obviously using your strategy, but then, you know, where are you playing small, and where are you afraid to take action? Because that's a big one. Like, that it's the taking action piece that sometimes they can kind of lag and get stuck. So that fear. So like, where are you afraid to take action? Go for it. Because that's what the world needs. The world needs manifestors to be initiating and going and starting and getting the ball rolling. That's what you're designed to do. Okay. Yeah, of course. You guys can ask any questions. Just pop them in here whenever. I'm going to hop on to reflectors, and then I'll come back and just do any last questions that you guys have. So reflectors are obviously the most rare type in human design. They're 1% of the population. So it's knowing that they're just so open, and they're here to be everyone and no one. And so they really are like picking up, they're absorbing the most of any energy type. You know, they're really picking up what's going on in the world, and that's what makes them the most sensitive to their energy, and the most conditioned type as well. And so what can feel like a weakness to them is actually really where their power lies, because they can feel other people's fears and desires and emotions. They can feel other people so deeply. And they have this ability to really kind of transform into the person that they're with, and really know what it's like to wear their shoes and know what it's like to be them. And so that is their gift. reflectors are the ultimate chameleons, but that's what gives them so much wisdom. So the biggest thing for reflectors is just really like letting go of who you think you're supposed to be and just opening up and being really, really present. In every moment, you are absorbing something, taking something in, learning it, turning it into wisdom, and then you're meant to let it go, let it flow through you. And that's where alone time is so important for projectors, it is important for projectors. It's also really important for reflectors because they need time to decompress and go back to that like blank canvas. So yeah, it's just, for them, it's knowing that society, a big conditioning in society is that they just put people into boxes, and reflectors, you really have to know that you are here to be everybody and nobody. And a lot of what you feel is just it's not yours. So it's about, you're here to remind us that we're all different. Nobody belongs in a box. And if we can really start to let go of the things that we think of ourselves and just really be present in every moment, we can start to create space for more downloads, right? More downloads of wisdom, more lessons to come in. And that's where reflectors are really, really such great teachers for us. And so for them, it's knowing that there's a lot more power of being present and not being put into a box. And then, really growing out of that idea that anyone or anything needs to be put into a box. So yeah, like reflectors, because they are so open, they can be anything that they want to be. They can be anything they want, and they can go anywhere that life leads them. Like their experience in this life is really this like passive journey. And it's not about going out and finding the things that light them up. It's knowing that like life is going to carry you. Life is really meant to flow for them. And yeah, and it's the big conditioning for reflectors is that they're such sensitive beings, and so they can be viewed as weak, and they kind of can shy away from society sometimes because they can get shamed for that. And yeah, they just feel a lot. So for projectors, for reflectors, the unsexy work is just knowing that your sensitivity doesn't mean that you should be pulling away. It doesn't mean that you should be hiding, and it doesn't mean that you're weak. Oftentimes, again, in a big conditioning for you guys too, is that you're told that because you're so open in your chart, you don't know who you are. And there's this idea that there's something wrong with the fact that reflectors like change, and that they can be really sensitive to certain people in certain environments. And, this idea that because you are so fluid that you don't know who you are and you don't know what you want in this life. So for reflectors, keeping journal tabs daily of just like what feels good to you will really, really help you, because that's where you're going to start to build this awareness and see like what is serving you in your life and what is not. And that saying, you are the sum of the people you spend the 5 people you spend the most time with, that's like most true for reflectors. So who do you want to be? Do you want to be a super positive, energetic person? Go find positive, energetic people to be around. That's really important. So the journal prompt for the reflectors is, where am I putting myself in a box or labeling myself? And where do I see my sensitivity as a weakness? Okay, Jen, thank you, Jen. Thanks for joining. So if anybody else has questions, pop them in. We're going to be sending all these journal prompts out to you guys in a PDF. So you'll have these if you didn't catch any, or, whatever. But yeah, I just, I really wanted today to just give you guys a little something to either for yourself or for the people in your life to kind of help nudge them into that first step of that unsexy work, because it's unsexy because it's uncomfortable. We have to shine a light on ourselves. We have to really go inwards and see like, what is not working in my life, or what have I been told that I'm in a way that I'm supposed to live that doesn't resonate with me. And it takes work because you have to shift, you have to make those changes, but it's about owning our energy and owning our desires and just owning who we are and who we want to be and giving ourselves permission to do that. So yeah, it's, remember that human design is an experiment. And so we're meant to play and we're meant to have fun, and certain things may resonate with you and certain things may not. And that's okay. Take what you can, take what resonates with you and incorporate it into your life. And if it doesn't, then let it go. But, it's really about taking that first step of awareness, so that you can just in your day-to-day life start to catch yourself doing these things and then pivoting. And with that awareness, you will continue to step further into, all of the sexiness that alignment has to offer. And so that's what I wanted to give to you guys today, was just a couple of those first steps. Knowing the designs has helped me working with my team. That's amazing, Randy. My Manny Gen question stemmed from the projector piece around making money from Manny Gens. What's the best way to show up and receive when running a business? What's the best way for our energy to show up to attract clients without feeling super impatient? Yeah, it's just, the impatience is a big piece to work for with you guys, but really for MGs, it's like, follow your bliss and follow the sacral hell yeses. And I know that sounds simple, but the more that you commit your energy to those sacral hell yeses, the more you're generating energy. And when you're generating energy, that's you being sparkly, that's you showing up in the best way. So, it can be tough sometimes, like say you're an emotional authority, you might be in a wave or something. So it's about finding, navigating ways that you can just get yourself, how can I, what do I need right now? How can I generate more energy right now? So for me, sometimes I did not sleep last night. I don't know what I just laid awake all night. Had a little nerves maybe, but this morning I got up, I was like, what do I need right now? I need a super hot shower and I need to put some music on and get into my groove. And then my energy starts flowing and generating. And then I'm like, okay, then I could show up for you guys in a really good way. So it's going to be different for all of you guys, but really like you can always talk to your sacral as a Manny Gen. You can always ask your sacral something. What do I need? Do I need this or this? And your sacral is going to respond to you. So don't be afraid to communicate with your sacral, ask it questions, and then let yourself have that, And I think sometimes there's a lot of guilt around, if it's the middle of the afternoon, some days it's 2 and I'm like, what do I need right now? I'm like, I need to lay down for 30 minutes, and society says that's lazy. But for me, I know that I need that in order to then get up and show up for the rest of the afternoon. So giving yourself permission to do all of those things will be a huge step in your alignment, because it's the selfishness, but it's really just you following your desires. And the more you follow your desires, the more energy you create. And that's where you become magnetic. And that's just, people just want to see your energy. That's what it is. When desires feel too big, do you have any recommendations working through that? I would step into the fear. What about it feels too big? What's the fear behind that? Behind stepping towards that? Because I think when we hit those fears, fears are going to pop up for us no matter what. So we're really meant to be walking with our fears and knowing that you can turn that fear into momentum, but really you have to get to the bottom of it first. What am I really afraid of here? And know that you can take that, walk with it, don't let it stop you, because ultimately as an MG, your desire is what's going to be pulling you and giving you the energy to make your way through. So let that desire lead you, feel the fear, do it anyways. I know that sounds but dive deeper into the fears, see what really is stopping you there, and just get honest with yourself. What would happen if I just because some people, for example, have a fear of showing up online. Okay, what would happen if I showed up online every day? What would happen if? And then what can I do to get myself in that place okay, so maybe I'm going to put my record on and dance. I'm going to go for a run. I'm going to get myself in a really good headspace so that I can show up in my sparkly energy. And then that's it. And know that all of those, and fears fears are normal for all of us, but it's what we do with them that is that determining factor of stepping deeper and deeper into our alignment and closer to our desires. Okay, thank you, Amy. Lots of people struggling to sleep last night. I'm like, what is going on? Any books or resources you can recommend to projectors to learn about self? Okay, so there are 2 books that I really highly recommend. It is it's Human Design. Shatan Parkin is the name. I'm gonna pull up my phone and I think it's just called Human Design. That's a great book. It's really digestible. Yeah, Discover the Person You Were Born to Be. Human Design, Discover the Person You Were Born to Be. And the other one is called The Science of Differentiation, which is another human design book that's Ra Uru and Linda Burnell, I believe. That one's a little more science heavy, fact heavy, but they're both absolutely brilliant books. If you're wanting to dive deeper into human design, I'd highly recommend that. Amy puts out free podcasts, 1 to 2 episodes a week, and they're incredible. It's a great free resource for, not just like projector, but like your centers, your channels, gates, everything. She goes really, really deep, and it's free. So I would take advantage of the Align by Design podcast as well. Okay, well, I hope that you guys all enjoyed today. I hope that you guys, are able to take something tangible away and just kind of step forward into your own alignment and know that it's just about taking a step. Just about taking a step every day. The science of differentiation, Stephanie. The science of differentiation. Yeah, just take 1 step every day towards the desires that you love. Dream big. Like, I don't like the word selfish, but like, just go big on your desires, and don't be afraid to daydream about the life that you want. Like, I truly believe that that's such a huge part of stepping into alignment, is letting yourself dream and then having that awareness as you move through life every day, and stopping yourself and pivoting and see what works and what doesn't. And yeah, just choose your desires. So will there be a replay at Top Off? Yes, there will be a replay. Thank you guys all for showing up live. For everyone watching the replay, thank you so much. I am sending you guys so much love, and I will see you guys soon.